Since y'all done heard my voice on this shit here. But welcome back to the Hangout with your man Lonzo Low. It's been a hell of a minute. Definitely feels good to speak on, this shit again. But this time around, I don't really have any like direct direction where I want to go with this, but I just want to give a little explanation on why it took so long to make another episode and, everything else in the mix. So I'm gonna just get right on into it. Life, pretty much, I like to be transparent with folks. And, me, I don't fake the funk. I don't fake the funk with nobody. Pretty much, life has just been whipping my ass, whole lot of things been going on with me. Family, friends, other things in that nature in the mix. Just trying to keep all this shit together, Shit can get shit can get difficult, shit can get rough. But all in all, I always stay together, or try to stay together at least one puzzle piece at a time, with my life and everything else. Of course, I can't go into 100% details, everything, but just know that I'm making things happen as I go along. You know what I mean? One thing I do want to speak on before I continue, what was it? A little shortly after I dropped my last episode, and I know I'm a little late on this speaking about this, and I ain't gonna be brief about it, I ain't gonna speak on too long, but I did want to talk about the situation that happened right at the end of the school year, and as everybody already know, the situation in Texas with the shooting at the kids in the school and whatnot. As y'all already know, I got kids of my own, and children hold a very soft spot to me and nearly dearly to my heart. And when I first read about that story, and I started reading the details day after day of what happened, that shit really broke my soul. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended with Beyonce. But speaking on the real, that shit really fucked me up. You know what I mean? And just reading that story and just looking at the parents and everything else, and it just hurt my soul, man. I can't lie. I shed a tear. I cried for 2 days after listening to that story, and just going in and reading more stuff about how this should have happened, how this shouldn't have happened, how the police didn't go into the school at about an hour, and all of this, and parents was trying to fight their way in the school to get their kids after hearing gunshots in the motherfucking school. I couldn't imagine being a parent like that. Nigga was just gonna have to shoot me. For real. Cause ain't no way I'm gonna sit there and let a motherfucker shoot the school with my kid in there. And no, man. No. And I don't want to make this, bring back old depressing shit. But I just felt like I needed to speak on it because that was part of the reason, or one of the main reasons why I kind of, distance myself from the podcast thing. And, I was really kind of mentally fucked up from that for a little while. You know what I'm saying? And it bothered me. And, I was hurt. And I just didn't know how to express my emotions and feelings about that. You know what I mean? But yeah, like that shit really messed with my head, and it was just hard for me to wrap my head around like how that shit just happened and how it went down, and it just hurt my soul, man. Them kids didn't deserve that, man. And the sad thing is, them kids woke up that morning, ate breakfast, and just went on to school like any other day, not knowing that they was gonna die that day. I mean, nobody ever knows when they're gonna die. But as a kid, you just being a kid, And then now you sit in the classroom, you hearing gunshots, you ain't never heard no shit like that before. The teacher's panicking, you don't know what to do. And then the motherfucker busts in the room and start dumping. Like, that's crazy, man. Anyway, yeah, I don't want to speak on that too much because I'm gonna start getting emotional and shit again about that. But I just want to clarify that for the most part. You know, how I felt about that situation. It just tore a hole in my heart, scarred forever. You know, even though I'm not a victim of what happened, but I still witnessed of that shit, and it still hurts me just as much. You know what I mean? So I felt like I needed to address that because, you know, it just kind of put me in a dark place for a little minute, you know. But I'm back. Ow, damn it. Hit my damn hand on the table. Excuse me. But I'm back now, and I had a few folks that was wondering like why I haven't made another episode of podcast, and that's one of the main reasons why. You know what I mean? And plus, I just been extremely busy with a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things I was planning on doing this summer. And there was a lot of things I wanted to do, but I couldn't get around to it because of other certain circumstances, situations. And, I just had to postpone them for a little while. But that's okay, though. We're going to get to them things. I was supposed to go to Miami this summer, but I ended up canceling that trip, most likely because of the monkeypox shit. And I'm not with that monkeypox shit. You know what I mean? I ain't with that. And as time was getting closer to go down there, it was like the monkeypox case was increasing day after day after day in Florida. And then like maybe like a month before we were supposed to go down there, that's when it was like Florida's cases is like one of the highest monkeypox. And I was like, nah, man, I ain't even trying to take that risk. Now, I could have went down there and it could have been all right and could have been safe. And, could have had a good ass time, but at the end of the day, I ain't really want to take that chance. You know what I mean? I'm not with that monkeypox shit. And I'm not with that COVID shit neither. But that monkeypox shit, I can't walk around with bubbles and boils and shit on my motherfucking skin. You know what I mean? I can't walk around like that. That look funky and nasty and dirty. No. Not me. You won't catch me walking around looking like that. I wouldn't even fucking come out the house if I caught that shit. I'd be in the house just crying and waiting for that shit to disappear. So, no. I'm I'm good on that. But more so I also wanted to talk about is I've been doing a lot of thinking and a lot of thinking of myself and my life and where I want to go and what I'm trying to do with myself. And I just been, reflecting on a lot of stuff of who I was, who I used to be, and who I am now. And, thinking back on how I used to do things and how I used to move and sometimes how I used to treat people, man. It's just like, damn, man, I really was kind of a piece of shit of a person. You know what I mean? And that kind of put me in a mood. You know what I mean? Shit that I used to say and do, that ain't cool. And that shit, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man, that shit caught up with me. Karma is a motherfucker, man. Like, people walk around this bitch every day doing dirt and think that shit ain't gonna come back on them. But believe me, that shit don't forget about you, man. And karma's like the IRS. You fuck over the IRS, they'll let you keep fucking them over until that one day they said enough is enough. And they come for your ass and with the audit. And karma works the same way, man. You gotta keep your eyes open and just do right by people. And I'm not saying that I was like being a shitty or doing real dirt on folks, but you know what I mean, at the same time I wasn't doing the best things either. And I've noticed that when it came down to certain things, of how I used to move and act. And I reflect back on it now. It makes sense on why this person don't talk to me no more, or why this person do this, or why this person do that, or, blah, blah, blah. It makes sense now. You know what I mean? And I just couldn't see it then, because I just thought that I was, wasn't doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? But now that I know that I've learned my lesson, and I can see things on the other side of the fence now. It feels good to know that what I am now is way different. Well, not way different, because I'm still learning. But it feels good to see all my bad habits and to acknowledge them and try to work on them and move past them. It's really hard to see your bullshit when you're in the mix of the bullshit. And usually people don't see their bullshit unless something happens in their life, or they lose somebody or something of that nature. You know what I mean? And, me in my life, I had to learn the hard way of everything because I'm hard-headed. You know what I mean? So that's another thing I just want to speak on, on why, I disappeared for some months. I had to get myself together, get myself right mentally, emotionally, and all that other good stuff. And, it wasn't like I was really down and out. I just really wanted to really know where the hell I was going with my life and where I've been at and where I wanted to go and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So that pretty much, sums that up anyway. But yeah, I miss speaking to y'all, man. And, I know some folks, really was like getting on my ass about making another episode. So here I am. This episode probably won't be too long because I didn't really organize this. And usually how I do each episode or this, I write it out. I write out the title episode, write out each segment and everything else, and what I'm finna talk about and everything else. But this one, I'm freestyling this one, because I just felt like I just had to just get some shit off my chest. Another thing I do want to talk about is some new adventures that I wanted to get into. For y'all who don't know, I never been to college. Once I graduated high school, I took a year or two of just chilling out, and then I went right into the workforce. And from here on out, I just been working ever since. But now I'm older now, I'm getting closer to 30, and there's certain things I want to do in my life. I want to go back to school. Or not go back to school, but I want to go to school. And the reason why I want to go to school is to get my bachelor's degree to become a teacher. Now, I know a lot of folks say, well, why you want to become a teacher, man? Teachers don't make that much money, blah, blah, blah. To me, it ain't about that. You know what I mean? It's about just teaching the next generation on how to be better than this generation, for me. And y'all know how I feel about children, and I want how I care about the future of the children, the next generation, all that. So I feel like I want to play a part in that. And me being a teacher ain't something I thought of a couple months ago, or something that, I was like, oh, maybe I'll try. No, I always thought about being a teacher. Even when I was in high school, I always thought about being a teacher, but I just didn't ever really fully, really thoroughly thought it through, But I knew in my bones that at some point in my life I wanted to do something that was, something to do with the children, you know what I mean? Whether it's teaching or coach or something, you know what I mean? But I feel like being a teacher would really fit me well, you know what I mean? Like, I really love being around children. I love showing children how to do this and how to do that, and, everything else. And, kids is my future. Kids is my life, If anybody, as y'all already know, I love kids. You know what I mean? I hate people. I hate adults. Motherfucking adults get on my nerves. Yeah, they do stupid shit all the time. I just hate adults. But kids, for me, kids is innocent. Kids can fuck up 99 times, and I will have more patience than anything because they're still learning. as an adult, you should already know better. So even same thing for teenagers. You know, you can fault a teenager 100 times, but you know that teenager's still learning. You know, it takes a long time to get through some shit. You know what I mean? So kids are innocent to me. You know, you got some badass piece of shit kids out there, but they still kids at the end of the day, and they still learning how to maneuver through this life. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah, that's what I want to do. What kind of teacher do I want to become? I want to become either a math teacher or a science teacher or something like that, but most likely a math teacher. I've always liked math. Math was always one of my favorite subjects in school. You know, I always liked dealing with numbers, you know, growing up. And I've always kept a C above a C average in math. And if anything, if I ever got anything below that, it's just because I was goofing off and playing around in class. But I always kept above a C average in math because I always liked math. You know, I always liked numbers. You know, I always liked dealing things with arithmetic and whatnot. But yeah, I always liked math. You know what I mean? So if I became a teacher, probably math. You know, I can picture it now. You know, I got my own little classroom. You know, I got my own decorations on the classroom for the kids and everything else. You know, I got so many ideas on how to teach children how to learn. You know what I mean? Because adults think that all kids are supposed to learn one way. No. It don't work like that. You know, Sarah's gonna learn a different way than Devontae, and Devontae's gonna learn a different way from Sam, and Sam's gonna learn a different way than Kayla, and Kayla's gonna learn a different way than John. All kids learn a different way, but there's always there's always a structure that you can build off of from them to all learn at the same pace, kind of, sort of. You know, you gotta make learning fun for kids. You know, this is why kids act up in school. Well, there's multiple reasons why they act up in school, but that's one of the reasons why they act up in school, why they don't pay attention to class, why their grades ain't that good, because whatever they dealing with outside of home, they got to come to the school and pretend or put on a face or whatever the case may be, and be someplace they already don't want to be. You have to make a kid want to come to school. They already don't want to be there. So as a fucking teacher, you got to do something to make them want to sit in your classroom and fucking learn. Tossing a book in their face and tell them to go to chapter this and read it and take a test, that's boring. There's no spice into that. You got to make a kid want to come to school and learn. Just like everybody wants to go to the club and drink and have a motherfucking good time, you got to make that same feeling in school. Without the alcohol and the drugs and the, you know, violence. You got to take that same formula and put that shit in the school. And I guarantee you, as a teacher, as a classmate, as an adult, the motherfucking grades will go sky high. Because they willing to learn, because they enjoying that experience. You got to create an experience for a child, for them to want to be there so their grades can increase. You having problems at home, or that child having problems learning, sometimes it's deeper than what, you know, than school. They might be dealing with something at home. So not only that, you got to be a good ass teacher, you got to be a motherfucking therapist too. You got to wonder why Melissa is having trouble counting and learning and all that shit. All the other students is way advanced than her. And you thinking, oh, she just a slow learner. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It ain't because she a slow learner. It's whatever she's dealing with at home or outside of school is affecting her ability to learn in class. So now I'm not saying that you got to get all up in their business, but you do got to do some digging and research on why Melissa's grades is fucked up and why she ain't learning as quickly as the other kids. And you know what they want to do? They want to be like, oh, well, she's slow enough, she blah, blah, blah. So they want to throw her in the motherfucking class separate from the other kids and saying that this is what's wrong with her, she this, she that, she got these issues. Whole time, girl is smart. She's just dealing with some shit at home, outside of school, or whatever that's affecting her to learn in class. So yes, y'all teachers out here, and I ain't even a teacher yet, so I'm not gonna tell no teacher how to teach. But what I can say is for the teachers who are teachers, who just throwing books and expect a kid to just learn at 100 miles an hour, that shit don't fly, man. That shit don't fly with me. You know what I mean? You gotta cater to every motherfucking student in your class. Cause with me, I got 3 babies. Okay, I got 3 kids. How I talk to my oldest ain't how I talk to my second son or my middle son, and ain't how I talk to my youngest daughter. I talk to them all three of them different because they all 3 different personalities. And they all learn differently, but they're all smart. You know? That's how you gotta treat your students. You gotta just catch that formula, catch that wave. And once you catch that wave and formula, then everybody else in the class is gonna follow suit. You gotta be a motherfucking leader. If the motherfucking student don't respect you and don't see you as a leader, they're not gonna give a fuck about what you talking about in that class. Now, I'm not give it a take. I'm not saying that every student is gonna be the wildest and the most smartest motherfucker that come in the classroom. You are gonna have that 1 or 2 students who's gonna fuck off and do what they do, and then dick around. But the point I'm trying to make is that there's always a better way to teach than to tossing a book in the front of a motherfucker's face. You see what I'm saying? There's always a better way to teach than tossing a book in front of another motherfucker's face and then telling them to learn some shit. Not everybody learns like that. Some people learn like that, but a lot of people don't. So now you got to figure out another way and formula to get this person to learn. You see what I'm saying? You got to find something to relate to them in order to get them to understand of what you're trying to teach them. For example, I'm going to make it simple. If Jimmy don't understand that 2 plus 4 is 6, because for whatever fucking reason, you got to go like this. I said, Jimmy, first of all, what's your favorite toy, Jimmy? Let's say Jimmy say, an action figure. Buzz Lightyear, right? All right, Jimmy. Let's say you got 4 Buzz Lightyear toys lined up all together. And the kids, you got to build an imagination for them. And they learn them. Because just telling them 2 plus 4 is 6, it ain't nothing but a bunch of scrambled eggs in their fucking head. So now you got to tell Jimmy and say, hey, Jimmy, look, you got 4 Buzz Lightyears standing right here, all lined up next to each other. Right? So now Jimmy can picture 4 Buzz Lightyears all lined up next to each other. And if I tell Jimmy, I say, hey, if I slide 2 more next to these 4, how many Buzz Lightyears you got? Jimmy might take a minute. He'll sit there and think. He'll start counting the Buzz Lightyears in his head. Instead of counting fucking numbers, he's going to count the Buzz Lightyears in his head. You got to make something that's relatable to them. Numbers not everybody is good with numbers just rolling around their head. You got to attach that number to something that they can relate to. So if I tell Jimmy he got 4 Buzz Lightyears, and if I just slide on 2 of them next to the 4, how many you got, Jimmy? How many Buzz Lightyears do you have in total? And he'll be like, 6. Right. So, Jimmy, 2 plus 4 is what? Jimmy gonna say 6. Boom. Now Jimmy knows that 2 plus 4 is 6 because there's something that he related those numbers to. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it will work like that for every kid, but when you can relate some shit to somebody in order for them to learn, it helps out a lot, man. I wish a lot of teachers helped me or taught me like that, would teach me like that. You know, there's a lot of ways to teach somebody. It's not just one direct way, and I feel like I can be very good at that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that's the most perfect way, but that's a way that I feel like that will be very effective, especially for young little boys and girls. You know what I mean? So, all in all, after saying that, I just really feel passionate about this, man, and I just be reflecting a lot on my life, and I've been, I I've tried a billion things, not a billion, but I tried a lot of things in my life, and I've had my moments where I enjoy doing this and I'm doing that, but this is something I thought about for a long time, and I want to do it. And I gave myself a goal. I want to become a teacher in 5 years. You know, I looked it up. To get your bachelor's degree, it takes 2 to 4 years to get your bachelor's degree to become a teacher, and it costs rather between 22 to 50,000. That's another thing. Student loans, right? I am afraid of that, but that's neither here nor there. You know, either way, I'm gonna get there, and I want to really accomplish this. Cause and at the same time, for the last couple of years, I did think about going to school and everything. Cause I always wanted to experience that college feeling, but I never could afford to go. Now I definitely could have pulled out student loans and the grants and all that shit, but I never wanted to go that route. Cause I'm motherfucking student loans ain't no motherfucking joke. And I think I just read somewhere that Biden, he announced that they did the student loan forgiveness thing. So ain't that a bitch? I should have just went to school anyway, right? But point I'm trying to make is that's a passion of mine that I always wanted to fulfill. I just never knew how to go about it or when the time was right. But I think now is the time for me to really start moving on and acting on it. But before I get to that, I have to get some other things out the way first before I get to that. But trust and believe, I'm really, really, really serious about that, and I really want to do that. You know what I mean? That's one of the things I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And yeah, man, that's just one of my things I want to do. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up this episode for this week. Just know that I promise I will be more consistent in the episodes. I'm going to be doing more. Now that I'm back, I'm going to be doing episodes every week. And if I miss a week, I will make sure that I double up the episodes and whatnot. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to, give a little brief moment to let y'all know why I've been gone for so long, and, why I stepped away from the podcast thing. But I knew in the back of my mind I was going to come back and do it. And here I am now. And, I'm going to continue to be more consistent with it now and, be true to the game. And I'm still going to try to find some better equipment. Because doing this shit on my phone is cool and all, but it ain't the best. You know what I mean? I want to make sure my shit sound nice and crisp and clear for y'all. So I got some shit in the works that I'm going to be getting some equipment a little soon so I can, make my shit look nice. Sound nice. And then after that, I'll be working on some footage on where I can, instead of just hearing the audio, y'all can see I have a video of me. So I want to do this podcast and shit right. You know what I mean? Whether I blow up off this shit or not, I want to do it right because I want y'all to know who I am and what I stand for and who Lonzo Lowe is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But anyway, I'm going to close this out. Make sure y'all tune in to next week. I usually drop my episodes on every Thursday. So be on the lookout for this episode. I might drop it before the Thursday, just to, whatnot, because I know it's been a minute. I might drop Monday, Tuesday, who knows? I don't know how I see. But tune in every Thursday at the Hangout with your boy Lonzo Lowe. Peace.